All right. So I got into buys on this account, but Anubis only got me into one trade because it never had a pullback. So I just got out manually and like, okay, I'm trying to get. So one trade took me to almost 0.10, right? So um, just a quick and dirty thing of what I do. So every night I'll just come over here to the 1 hour and quick and give me a wide view. This is what I do, and I just kind of look. I mean, I don't draw on my charts anymore, but I kind of look obviously at this trend right here. You have this one right here as well, but this is the one that we're contending with. I think if you actually, they, yeah, you'd see a different picture, but I'll never do my overnight stuff on days. But the picture that this day is printing, obviously, is that we're at the top of this range. Right? So I'll drop down to the 1 hour chart. And again, widening out, we're definitely at the top of this range here. We're also at the top of this trend here. So it very well could go sideways. It could have continuation to the upside, or it could come back and come all the way down to this price right here, which puts it at the bottom of this range as well as the bottom of the channel. So this would be an easy area for the market to hit. What would be hard for the market to do is cross over here, right? It'd be hard to really kind of cross this and have continuation to the upside, even because we still had a 20 pip reach up. We never get a 20 pip. Rarely do we get that kind of a move in the evening. So that has to be answered when the euro wakes up. So look at the news real quick. See if we have any news while I'm sleeping, because it's something to do all the time. So Wednesday night, nothing. A little bit, but nothing that's gonna push. That's in the morning, but nothing is really gonna be blowing the market up. I didn't move. We have a just nothing really. I didn't look at the news or anything, but anybody know why it moved? Why it moved? There had to have been something for it to move that much in the evening market. So, but I didn't see. It's not printed on the news. I think it was the Audi news. Audi doesn't usually push the euro. Oops.
Well, it wasn't anything for the US. It was good.
Yeah, but sometimes if you get like a world event, that can
Yeah,
change it after hours, right? That's what I was thinking. Something off the books, some world event, somebody said something somewhere, sometime.
yeah, it could be politics. Someone.
Yeah. All right. So this is how I'm going to play this really quick tonight. Is I'm probably going to get in some. That's what I'm going to do. And probably sell at the top of this and just play sells because of this reach up right here. Anticipating coming back 20 pips is easy. And so I'm not going to probably, we're at the top of a range. Everything we're extended on the reach should come back. So definitely this could be the apex here, or it could go up a little bit. But I'm going to play sell with something. So jump in here. Now here's the real thing. Sometimes the Nimbus will let me play sells. Sometimes it'll. I don't know. Nope. Oh, yes. Look, this time. It lets me do buys all the time, but sells is tricky sometimes. So if it comes down here and crosses that, which is an M, you know what? I'm just gonna say no, start it because I think it's. I'm just gonna let Anubis take me down. If it pulls back, it'll be. But what's going on? Oh no, I thought it was a different account. That was a small tiny one. That's how I do it. Honestly, that's it. Tonight was an easy call. At this end, we have a downtrend coming. It's moved up all of this right here. If it does decide to go up and cross here, well, Anubis will get me more. I'm looking for a opportunity for that to happen and having Anubis get me in. But if it doesn't, I could easily see it coming, running all the way down. So anybody agree, disagree, or whatever?
Agree.
So that's what I'll play and just see. We'll see what happens. Again, I'm not really worried about PTP because this is not a 1 minute chart. This is bad PTP. I'm just worried about not getting in. So I'm playing the 1 hour time frame, which is showing. Trading the 1 hour time frame, which is showing sell off at the top here. So that's why I'm in a sell. And this was an easier one today than the other ones that have been fast. All right. So any questions? Anything on that? That really should be that easy. What am I going to do tonight? I'm just get into a trade. Let it work out. Let it work out.
Yeah, where would you exit? Would you exit if it? Are you gonna set your exit like stop loss? I mean, if it didn't pan out, or you just leave it with whatever it is.
I just leave it with whatever it is because Anubis actually will adjust that once it's in profit, right? So, and honestly, lately, I mean, one trade, the maximum an Anubis has ever gotten to is like 4, 5 trades, and without me helping. So 4 or 5 trades puts me about maybe 1% loss if I get stopped out on all 4 of them, and that rarely happens. That rarely happens that I get stopped out on all 4. So that's kind of my risk, right? 4 or 5 trades, 1% stop out. My reward is that it moves in my favor, it builds, and it continues to run, right?
Yeah, 10,
So
10 trades at the 5 price cycles, you are about 2%.
yeah, that's what I say. Like never ever experienced a 2% loss doing one trade. Do you know what I mean? So that's the way I'm doing it tonight. It's like worst case scenario, I'm down maybe 0.5% is usually it's a quarter. I just gotta fix a quarter. A quarter is pretty easy to fix. So as long as I'm in the right direction, I've never had to fix my overnight trades. I don't make very much. They make like 0.10 or 0.20, but that's all I'm looking for. Yeah, that's really all I'm looking for. But good question. So you think the pattern's W? I think it's an M. We'll just agree to disagree on that.
Well, it already broke, so
Well, in the 1 minute, but he's saying on the hour, right? So he's saying that this is a W on the hour, and I'm saying it's an M on the 1, which if it comes back, it turns this to M. And that's what I'm playing, right? is this. And the other thing too is something we talked a little bit about today. Trade with Brad. When did we talk about? Is that you can pretty much count on this coming back to the 50, right? And if this comes back to the 50, that's 10 pips, get me in a few more trades, all that kind of stuff. And I'm looking for, personally, looking for this to appear tonight, which is the convergence of this followed by this. So I'm thinking it's going to come to this area. Which will, it's just easy for the market to come to that trend into this right here and not break that. And that puts me at about 20 pips. I think that's a realistic expectation for the market. If it breaks up, yeah, it breaks up. I'll just fix it. The H1 is always the stronger pattern. Play the H1 overnight, right? But I think that I think that's why I'm just at the playing this right here is because I think we're at the top. So it's easier for it to go down than it's for it to go up. That's it. I don't know. This is the first time that Josh and I have aligned. So he's already in cells. Why are you in cells? What did you see? Is it the 12.5-minute chart?
Josh,
Okay.
say we have to sell. Is he in sales?
Yeah, he's in cell already.
And
I had no, I want to say it right now, a disclaimer, that had no influence whatsoever, no bearing whatsoever as to what direction I was picking. He said he was in cells right before. Megan's in buys on the euro. You're in buys on the euro.
I was in sells and losing, so I closed and put Anubis on, and Anubis caught the breakout, and I'm gonna prove me wrong right now on buys.
So you've been in buys for a little bit.
For a while, yeah. So we'll see. It'll take me out for profit, and before I go to bed, I'll probably look at it and see if I can get into sells. But right now, I'm playing the hour chart.
Yeah, I mean, the worst thing that could happen to me, well, not the worst thing, but it really, like right here, it happened. Got into a buy and it went all the way up, meaning it never got me into any more trades. So I took the bust route all the way up to here.
Yeah, it only got me into 2. That was kind of surprising, but
Well, it's because it never had
it
a
never
pullback.
went against me. Yeah.
Yeah, never had a pullback. So it has to have a pullback in order for you to trigger in, which is appropriate. So that's what I was like. I hope that it doesn't do that here and rejects that, and I'm only into one trade. So this actually makes me feel better that it's coming back to the 50. Hopefully it'll come up to here and get me into another trade right there. So again, I would like to be in 2 or 3 trades before this breaks. It's summertime and Elizabeth is easy. Love it, Toba. All right, that concludes our session on overnight trades. Anybody have any questions about it? And we know we dug into the settings or anything like that. But I kind of want to talk to you guys really quick about the going back to the basics. And sometimes it's a really good time to review. But Megan, if you don't mind, I'm gonna ask you a question here.
Okay,
Um,
if I can quit coughing. Yeah.
when I say the 3 and 50 method, how would you describe it? What would you say the 3 and
I
50
would
method
say
is?
that it is a market structure methodology or system. I don't know which word you would prefer. It's a way of looking at market structure, and we look at three, I don't know what you call them, the KPI, the trend and the bias. And the 50 represents the pullback to the 50% line. We named it that after those two things.
So still very vague. I mean, it's a definition, but it's very vague, right? So if I had to
Okay.
teach somebody the 3 and 50 strategy, what would you say that is? How would you teach them the 3 and 50 strategy?
Well, the three represents the performance indicators, and I know the 50 represents our pullback line. I'm not sure what I would call it. But how I would teach it is open up a chart and show them. I don't know if I know what you're getting at, David.
You're getting it like, well, obviously, if I was their coach, I'd just tell them to trade better.
And don't lose.
And don't lose. Yeah.
I don't know if I know what you're getting at.
No, if anybody's out there want to take a stab at it, like if you were to say I trade the 3 and 50
Make her
method, and
do
somebody
it.
says,
Thanks a
what's
lot,
that?
Joseph.
Somebody says, well, what's that? How would you describe it?
Well,
Right?
I mean, the 3 and 50 is the name of our system for how we trade.
Yeah, but if you're explaining it to somebody who is a trader and they're not unfamiliar with that terminology, how would you explain it to a fifth grader?
Based off
Do you know
of
what I
our
mean?
3 performance key factors and the pullback to the 50% line.
Okay, so I'm glad we're doing this class, right? Because I think it's kind of going back to the basics of what is the 3 and 50 method? What was it born from? What was it derived from? And really the answer comes into it's the fibs. It really is the fib. It's the fib really redefined, right?
Okay,
So
that's the 50, yeah.
the 50, even though the 50 is not a true fib number, we always look for those three spots, right? Meaning here's a run, here's the 50, but right here's the 25, right here's the 75, right? And we generally will say it's coming down to the 50. And we always say, well, it's 50-50 at the 50. We don't really know what direction it's going to go. But if it closes lower than the 25, there's a good chance it's coming to the 50. If it closes lower than the 50, there's a good chance it's coming to the 75. And if it closes lower than the 75, there's a good chance it's going to the 100, right? Now, we don't anticipate, nor do we expect market structure to go straight down or straight up. And the market never ever trades like that. And so along the journey of fibbing this event, well, the market's going to take a very, very different path. And there's really only a couple different paths that it can take. One, it could break this and go straight down. Two, it could do a stair-stepping thing, but it usually will create a pattern. And when it creates that pattern, you usually can bank on it 3 times. Like goes down, sideways, goes down, sideways, goes down, sideways. And that's how it could come down to that. Or it could come down here, consolidate some, go back up to the 50 right here of this move, and then consolidate some. And inside that consolidation, we get hints as to whether it's going to turn the other way or have continuation. And those hints come with the 1, 2, 3s. and the chart patterns of M's, W's, cup and handles, first retracements of the breakout. We hunt for all these high probability setups on its journey of wherever we feel the market is going. And case in point, if it crosses here, it's going to the 50. If it crosses the 50 of this move, if it crosses the 50 of this move, it's going to the 100, and then it creates a W, like Joseph was talking about. And with that W, you have a 0, 1, 2. So you have trending is up. You have a 0, 1, 2 with a W. Chances are it's going to break higher if it gets to this point, and it's a high probability chance. So I would be adding into buys once it crosses here. Failure to cross here, to do right what it's doing right now, means that it puts pressure back onto the bottom, which is a 0, 1. I don't really trust the 1, so I should pull back. If it comes down to here, pulls back, goes back up, creates that. Now we're a 2 with an M. And a 2 with an M is a high probability setup for a break. Right? The market is going to do 1 or 2. Well, it's going to do one or the other. It's either going to break higher or break lower. This could be plan A. This could be plan A. It just depends on what direction you're in and what you think is going to happen. But if this is plan A, then this is plan B. And if this is plan A, then this is plan B. Right? And so we talk about that all the time. You got to have an A and a B plan. Doesn't really matter what it is. They can be interchangeable. Your plan B could become your plan A once you get confirmation that plan A is not working out. And now you're working on plan B. Confirmation will come once this body crosses there. My plan A was get in and enjoy the rundown. Didn't happen. Plan B is if it crosses this, well, it's going to come up to here. I got to get into more trades and move my break even above here on that W. And that's just how I play it. Just move my break even line above the W so that when it does come back to this point, I can get out if I want to, or did structure change and are we coming back down? Personally, with one trade, I'm not getting out. I'm going to let it build me into 2 or 3 more trades if that happens. So now we say this a lot. This candle has a lot of information, and if it breaks, which it did, it's going to the top. And that's it. That's ultimately the 3 and 50 method in a Reader's Digest version. In a couple minutes, that's the 3 and 50 method. Is you know where it's going, right? Is it going here, or is it going here and have continuation? And then you look for 3 pieces of evidence: 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, and then that helps to direct you when you can. And there's 3 different levels that we talk about all the time. Are you a level 1? Are you level 2? Or are you level 3? Level 1 is just understanding the basics of what we just talked about. Level 2 is learning how to fix your trades when you're wrong. And level 3 is understanding that this is a 2 with a W. I need to load up because we just crossed here and we're probably going to break the top, or vice versa. And understanding where your risk and your reward is and how to minimize your risk, or how to add to trades that will reduce, how to add to trades that will reduce your risk. And I know you guys who've been there for a while have heard me say all of these things that I just spewed out to you guys tonight. You've heard me say them at various times in different segments when they're applicable, when they're appropriate. And I'm just trying to bring it all together to explain to you guys what the 3 and 50 method is actually built on, or create, or the process is, right? And it didn't get me out there. I don't understand. I don't know. It keeps doing that. It said I hit goal and it squeaked me out. I didn't hit goal. Just looking at your guys' comments real quick. All right. So did I explain what the 3 and 50 method is really good? Do you guys have questions to that? Any thoughts? I know it's kind of getting back to the basics, but I kind of like doing that from time to time about going back to how it all started, what it is, breaking it down to simplify it so
Yeah.
that it's not so ambiguous, not so all over the place. It's not so, well, you know, I think it's about market structure, KPIs, P2P.
It's a good
Yeah.
reminder,
It's
but
You know what I mean?
good
I
refresher.
can't think at this time of night anyway.
Oh, no, you're good. And especially, you're good. I mean, honestly, it all came from just looking at the chart.
I like
know?
I think that even what you just said has to be simplified if we really were gonna try to do like the 30-second elevator pitch. But what
Yeah.
I really liked at the beginning was what you said about it's the fib redefined. I get that right there, that phrase.
Yeah.
I totally
And
get
that's
that.
on
If
and
you
that's
know
what
the fib, a brand new trader might not.
that's true.
But that alone, the fib redefined, I think that's really clear.
Yeah. And somebody that's gonna, be very, like a better word, analytical is gonna tell you that you're wrong. 25, 50, and 75 is not
Right.
fib.
Oh, no, it's 78.2 or something like that.
Yeah.
78.6, I think.
But it really doesn't matter. What matters is where the action point is. And the action points usually will align at the 50.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
across the board, yeah.
Yeah, across the board, they usually align at the 50
Mhm.
and at the 100.
And
Those are
it's
usually your
interesting.
common places for it.
It's interesting because I used to use the 61 as the indicator that it would keep going, and that was pretty effective. But I never used the 50, but I think the 50 is more effective. First of all, you catch a longer run from 50 to 100 than 61 to 100.
And you do. But like for me, if I was playing the pullback off of here and across the 50, I still wouldn't think it was going to the 100 until it crossed here. And what number is that? I don't know. I don't think that's the 60. I think that's probably more like the
38.
72.
Yeah.
Well, on
70,
the down.
70 something.
72. Right. 71.87693 niner
Mhm.
alpha
High.
tango. Right.
Mhm.
So I don't really wrap myself up in the fib levels where I'm drawing fibs on my chart all the time. Now I'm just kind of curious to see what that is on this retracement. So it's about the 61, but
So Dave,
70.
you know what? To do our 30-second elevator pitch. It's the fib redefined and how to take action.
Yeah, I like that. It really is. And and I was thinking about that just because of today with Brandon, and he said that he made the comment that I just was like, oh, I have to disagree, and it's not very often where I'll disagree so wholeheartedly. But he said that the Euro USD, he couldn't read it because it sounded to him to be just as crazy as gold, and I was like,
Oh my gosh.
I have to disagree with that comment because once you have traded with it for so long, you can see the patterns, you can see the
Mhm.
threes, you can see where it's going. You can't with gold. So I trade gold completely different than I trade the 3 and 50, right? uh Joseph says all I care is the 50. I'll go with that and how it gets there, right? So
So everybody's caught the gold bug. You knew I was gonna call you on it.
well, I don't know if you know this, but I'm letting Bumblebee trade the gold. I'm not trading it actively. So
I got through Beeline on gold.
You're
yeah,
doing pretty
no.
good.
Well, it actually did tonight on that run. Kind of. It cut my legs out from under me, but it hit goal. So that's the only thing. But a perfect overnight trade setup would not get you out on momentum. If it was momentum, it wouldn't just close you out at goal, it would secure it and let it run. And like that was kind of a bummer. It was it was one of those, man, that would have been awesome if, you know what I mean? I'm sure we've all had those trading moments.
Yeah, mine always cuts me out of gold though. I
No,
don't know
it
how
cuts
y'all
you-
get these runs.
It should cut you at goal. And so it ran up. So I'm just looking at it right now. But my talon won't move. Whatever. So I was in a trade and it ran up 35 pips in gold. Got me out at goal. And then it proceeded to go straight up 1,457 points.
Wow.
So it's like I missed out on 100 pip run in gold because I got out of gold instead of security because it never pulled back. It just went straight up. So that to me is like the perfect overnight setup that I'm working on creating, is where once you're in goal, it'll secure you, or once you're in profit, you can set your secured levels, meaning you can set a percentage of gold secured. So that you never, basically I could walk away and know that the worst that's going to happen, a high percentage of the time, that I'm gonna make a little bit of money, but never walk away with nothing, right? And then just play the overnights, play the overnights, play the overnights, make 0.1, 0.1, 0.1, 0.1, bam. You just made 1,000 pip move because the market moved that much, right? Or 100 pip move, I mean 1,000 pip move. But that's, to me, is what I'd like to start, is like overnights, like capitalize when it's there and secure when it's not. And then knocks you out, right? So that's what I'm kind of working on for overnight stuff. But yeah, so we'll see. I jump back into an overnight trade here. We'll see where it goes. I'm down 24 cents. Nope, breaking even. Woo! All right. Anybody have any last comments or thoughts? I just kind of want to go over the basics again tonight because I think a lot of times in our hot seat sessions, we don't talk about everything there is. We don't talk about every single movement that could happen. We just talk about what the market is doing right here and now.
Mhm.
And sometimes that is just playing the M's or W's or the 1, 2, 3s or the first retracement of the breakout or the ride of the wave. Whatever the market gives us what we're playing. But it all is encompassed with the 3 and 50 method, right? And so sometimes it's just good to go back to the basics, dial in what that 3 and 50 method is, understand what it is, and then I love doing this from time to time. It's like, look, the market absolutely moves in that range. It moves in a fib, right? It fibs
It
and
really
pulls
does.
back, fibs and pulls back. And if you know that and you have faith in that and you have trust in the process of that, then the only thing left to manage is your exits. And I've seen this so many times just recently, because we've been focusing on our exits, where this is where you should get out, and traders let the trades go here, and they don't get out, and then the market goes against them. And then they have to get heavier, and they say, well, it never works out. Well, it's because you're missing your exits. And that's something that I'm seeing all the time with you guys, is your exits are getting missed, right?
There's a
Um,
certain psychology that happens at that point.
Of your
I think-
exits. I would
Yeah,
agree
we're
with
at that spot you just drew, like where you're supposed to get out. Because
Yeah.
there's this, for me, this psychology that happens is like, oh, it could keep going my way, and now I can make a little bit of profit, right? Like, or something, right? And then, yeah, you're right. Instead of taking action, tendency would be to hesitate, to give it a chance, right? But I am working on those exits, because I've been burned way too many times that now I see them. It's like, you know what? Just take the hit, right? Like,
or to put yourself in a position to where you're not taking a hit, but you're taking a little bit of profit off the table and not expecting it to give you more. And it goes back to the conversation that I had with Brandon today, which was an unusual conversation, but it was a great one nonetheless, where I think Josh answered the question that was thrown at him, but it was, why are what you're saying and what your trades don't match? Basically, what you're saying you want the market to do and how you're trading it don't match, right? Is because you're too risky for that move. You're in too heavy to expect this large of a move, and you should not be in this heavy. You have exits along the way. So he was saying the market's going here, and I was saying, well, you have an exit here, you have an exit here, you have an exit here. And if you're too heavy, where if it goes to here and you risk out, you cannot afford to take trades all the way up to here, right? And you miss this exit, you miss this exit, and you miss that exit. Because at any time, it could come up to here and turn, could come up to here and turn. And then what do we do when we go on the other side of our break even? Most traders, well, let me ask you guys this. What do you guys do when it goes in? So it goes above the green line. So this will be break even. Your goal is here, or your max profit, should say, it's here. You don't take it, and it comes all the way back to this point. What do you guys do? It goes back to your break even. What's
Kick
kind
myself.
of the modus operandi that most traders do? Joseph, buy back in. That's one. I've seen definitely 100 times where you're adding here, right? You're buying back in. What else? From a psychological standpoint, what tends to happen right there?
Hold on.
They hold. Yep. They hold. And guess what? Here, you were nervous. Here, you're comfortable. And that needs to change. It needs to flip-flop. Because we're comfortable in being down. We're nervous when it finally gets to where we want it to go. Because of this is usually the case. It's because of that. Or it's other reasons that kind of get off of here. This could be revenge trading. This could be, well, I need to make up what I lost from yesterday. This could be, well, it finally is doing what I thought it was going to do for the last hour. So is it going to do it here? Right? Because you're just bored. There's a myriad of reasons why we have a psychological event at max profit. And, you know, it could be masked under FOMO for a myriad of reasons. And that is very intrinsic to the trader. But I am saying that you, as the trader, need to flip-flop this, where this is your max profit. This should be comfortable. And your break even should be uncomfortable. Meaning, I cannot allow the trades to go on the other side of break even. Very worst case scenario is that I miss out on max profit because I hold on, because I think it's going to move higher, and it pulls all the way back. And it flickers right here and we don't get out because we're like, oh yeah, come on, right, come on. And then it goes that. Get out because you are uncomfortable if it comes back to your break even. Right? Get out because you're comfortable at taking max profit because you knew that that's where the market was going to go. Right? Or you secure here for a prove me wrong, and that's getting a little bit deeper into the conversation. But that's the better method if you can, is you secure for prove me wrong. But the gist of what I'm talking about is until you can learn how to make your max profit comfortable. So an MPC, there you go, max profit comfortable, you will never, ever be able to master your exits. You have to master your exits. And you have to be okay with, well, that exit didn't give me what I wanted, so I got to go find another one. Or that exit gave me a lot more than what I thought, so thank you very much. But you should always be uncomfortable when it crosses your break even, and don't ever let it come back. I mean, I'm not talking like it's playing on the break even. I'm talking it clearly crosses your break even. And you have a whole other problem if your break even is always at max profit. And that's something that we need to fix in the hot seat session. But if your max profit and your break even are synonymous, that's your first problem. That's your first problem. But we don't have all night. Any thoughts, comments, questions before we kind of wrap up? I really do not want to dive into any more on this topic, because then it will open up another bunch of other topics that we don't have time to discuss, right? So here we go. It popped out with the W, gave us the W, came back for your retracement, and came all the way back down to the 50. So if it continues and bounces here, it creates this, and that creates the M. And there's that M on a 0, 1, 2 that I was fairly confident was going to come into play. Still am confident it's coming into play. Just don't know when. The when is the only question mark. I like it, Joseph. Can I sit down and can I lie down on your couch? You know, hey, I was gonna say that. I think Hilarion mentioned that, and it jogged my memory, and I'm so thankful that it might have been Hilarion, but correct me if I'm wrong. But it's a psychological. When it comes to exits, we're talking psychology.
Mhm.
And in the last 30 days or so, we have had more hot seat sessions where we've just been focused on psychology. And that is awesome. I can't explain how much that you guys have come in a short way. I'm not talking about, I don't have to dull you for PTP anymore. I don't have to say, why did you place a trade there anymore? I don't have to say, what are you doing? Why are you getting out there? Right? I am now talking to you about why are you doing what you're doing? Not how or what are you doing? It's why are you doing this? Understanding the whys are so vital to trading. And that seems to be where our conversation has been in the past little while. It hasn't been really about results. Results are awesome. but we've been having more of those psychology conversations, which is you guys are getting it. You guys are awesome in that regard. So
I want to put in a plug for next Wednesday night's class because that is going to be my topic.
is what? Psychology?
Psychology, trader psychology, because that's my problem.
Well, don't come with problems, come with solutions.
Well, but that's what my conversation is. You said you do these 3 days and then teach what we learned.
Right,
And
exactly.
that's what I'm focusing on is the psychology of it.
No, it's good. Just don't come with more problems than you have answers to.
I don't think that's the objective of teaching, but
it's not.
there are no problems, only opportunities.
You're right. Absolutely right. There are no problems, just opportunities.
That used to be on my corporate stationery.
And opportunities are, what is it? Oh my gosh, I used to say it all the time. Opportunities are only given to those who are willing to take them. That's it.
That applies to trading.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, I don't want to keep you too long. We got into some overnight stuff. Had a little bit of training tonight. I'm gonna have to give Jeff some grief for stepping in and doing that. I hope he's okay. It's not like him to just abandon. So, but hopefully this was good enough for you guys. So we shall see in the morning how our overnight trade set up. But good night. And we'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, David.
Thank you.
Good night.